Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale. Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating Zero, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hector the Gatekeeper.
Hello, I'm Beth, and I play Rillo Longshadow.
Hey there, I'm Alex, and I play the reoccurring special guest star, Ruger Firehide.
For one night only, folks, Ruger Firehide. And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker. Michael Parker playing the Druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic.
So is Alice going to be like our special guest for all of season one, and then like maybe next year?
That's my understanding about how TV works. I mean, right?
I think, we keep him as a special guest star for the rest of the season because he didn't start out the season, so you don't get to join main cast in the same season.
Right.
You get it.
Totally.
But then in season 2, we're going to bill you as main cast. Your character will die in the first episode, and then you'll leave the show.
That sounds about right.
But we'll trick everybody by finally billing you main cast for that one episode.
Do we want to talk about at all our plans for season 2, or is it too early to even talk about that on the show?
There's a season 2?
We've got some
I'm
stuff.
pretty sure we're going to get canceled before that.
I mean...
Always possible.
I hope not. I mean...
Nielsen ratings are in, and,
What we definitely don't want is all 30 of our listeners to get on Twitter and say that none of them should listen to our show. That would be absolutely tragic for us.
Yeah, Parker's mom, keep listening.
Please, seriously, yes, please. Let's just shout at all the people listening to the show.
I mean, we could.
Rosie, Jess, if you're out there, thanks for listening.
Who's Rosie Jess?
It's our new character.
Those are two separate individuals. Damn it.
I don't know. I think you're just mixing individuals together now, and I approve.
You would. Well, we are joined once again for a tale of epic fantasy. Did anybody have any, pressing current events that they wanted to just chat about for a little bit before we started? I've had 2 entire beers, so I'm ready to really mix it up.
Looks like Alex is drinking wine.
Yeah,
Ish.
Let's do a quick drink check. I am currently drinking a Budweiser in a tall can, and it's good for. It's a Bud Heavy, I guess they call it, because it's not a Bud Light.
All the
it's left
calories.
here.
Who calls it that? Out of curiosity.
People.
A
Industry insiders.
lot. I mean, I live in St. Louis, Missouri. I don't know where you live. A lot of people call it Bud Heavy.
I've never heard that terminology.
You've never heard Bud Heavy?
No.
I also have not.
Really?
Really?
And
guys
I do think that that's a bit of a restaurant thing, because that's you don't
fair.
often need to be directly differentiating between Bud Light and Bud Heavy, but that's definitely where I mostly hear it is like when we're gathering beer for a catering job. It's like, okay, we need 6 cases of Bud Light and 6 cases, and then you just say Bud Heavy to make sure that everyone's on the same page because we have 3 different Bud products.
That's a good point. Alex and Brian and myself, the Dungeon Master, Sam, the Dungeon Master, we have all tended bar.
Reoccurring special guest star Dungeon Master.
Flown in specifically for this episode.
No, I mean, let's be clear. Sam's the and starring.
Yes, absolutely. Top billing.
Oh, Brian, that's so sweet. I really appreciate that. Is it
bad that my self-esteem is so low that really just brightened me up like that. Should that have made my day? Maybe that's for the listeners to decide. I'm drinking a Budweiser. Quick drink check. Alex, what you drinking?
A delicious Shiraz, aged from 2016. Year of our Lord.
Ooh, what a delightful year, I assume, knowing nothing about wine. Beth, what you drinking?
I'm drinking hot cocoa out of a skull mug.
Now, for the listeners at home, I wish, and I'm with you, I wish this was a mug carved out of a human skull.
You can give me one of those if you want.
I'm surprised you don't already have one.
You probably make one out of resin.
It is a lovely porcelain mug with skulls all over it. Brian, what are you drinking?
I forgot the question.
Okay. Parker, what are you drinking?
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that's a delightful heady brew. Dr. Pepper is like Coke's more interesting cousin, you know? Little exotic. You're not sure if you're. What am I even talking about? I'm sorry.
It seems like Brian forego drinking to smoke instead.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Though back in the day, Brian used to bring a 2-liter of soda to D&D every time he played, right?
I have not seen a human being crush orange and or grape soda like my good friend Brian Baston. No one puts it down.
I never finished the 2 liters. It was just cheaper.
That's
That
fair.
is true.
You know?
All right, I think that's good. When last we left our heroes, Hector, Rilla, Zurabek, and the lawman Ruger Firehide gallivanted about the sprawling metropolis of Everspring, the center of culture in all of the Isles of Meosha. Rilla was conscripted by the fashion designer du jour, Charissa Lamstrand, into putting on a fashion show, displaying Charissa's finest wares for potential investors and changing shape to meet the demand of each individual outfit. And Ruger Firehide had a important conversation with the diviner, the powerful spellcaster and divination specialist who works for the lore masters of the College of Everspring and is the betrothed to Ruger's ex-wife Shira. Their wedding is coming up shortly, and the diviner has asked Ruger to keep an eye on things, since the diviner will not be able to use their magical powers on their special day.
Does this person have a name? Are they just like the diviner?
This person's name is the diviner. That's a very good question. I'm very glad you asked it, so we can just get that out of the way. All the while,
does that mean that Ruger's wife will be Mrs. the Diviner or Mrs. Diviner?
That's a great question.
Well, I think
that depends on if it's custom in this area for a woman to even take on the man's name during marriage. That's not common everywhere.
I'm not even certain I have a last name to which Shira could have previously adopted, because Firehide is a moniker.
That's the thing. Almost the only one of you with a last name is Rilla, and Long Shadow is literally the name of her clan. So, like, there is the thing about the beautiful, immaculate fantasy world that I've breathed into existence is that last names aren't really a thing, because, like...
Okay, but Hector's last name is the Gatekeeper.
Sure.
No, but, like, it is, and... The only difference, the only reason why you see his as not and Rilla's as is the.
Sure.
Like if she was Rilla the Long Shadow, then you wouldn't even.
Are all of the people from the Gates, do they all have the same surname? Are they all the Gatekeeper?
Because I mean, as far as like the entirety of your culture. You're more like Hector, a gatekeeper.
Or Hector of Clan Gatekeeper.
Yeah.
That's
Hector,
not.
one of the gatekeepers.
No, I'm
You'd
the.
actually, you'd be Gatekeeper Junior because your dad still holds the title, right?
Yep. Damn.
No.
I'm forevermore just going to call you
all
Junior.
this aside, while Ruger, Rilla, and Hector gallivanted through the streets of the sprawling metropolis of Everspring, our favorite druid Zurabak and his... Well, actually, no. Our faithful druid Zurabak was conscripted by Captain Kurz of the Knightly Order of the Quill to do a little extermination work, battling a massive and volatile plant creature out on the outskirts of the city, utilizing in the fight the very dagger that they went to the Ashen Isles to forge. He was swallowed by the creature, but carved his way out and eventually bested it, dragging its remains back to town. And so, we join our heroes in the city of Everspring. It is the day after your adventures, speaking of the Diviner, having that fashion show, and killing that Tendriculus. There are 4 days left until this wedding. I'd like to, if anyone has anything they'd like to do, spend a little time talking about what we're getting up to in those 4 days, if anything. No pressure. Zurabak, let me start with you. You dragged this massive plant creature, this sentient beast made of vines and sticks. You dragged it from the forest bordering the city of Everspring, here in the bowl of the Everspring Mountains, into town. What did you what did you do with it?
I'm gonna eat it, so it gets dragged to the cookery.
Fantastic. You drag this massive creature all the way through the streets of town to the College of Everspring and to your throne, this lovely wooden chair with antlers adorning the top of it that the students of the College of Everspring have erected for you in the cafeteria. And you, just throw it at the cooks in your special side kitchen?
Yes.
The beleaguered chef, who is snapped back to attention as you enter the cafeteria, says, of course, sir, of course. How would you like that cooked? Is there any particular preparation you'd prefer for this? Is it a creature? That looks like a pile of leaves and sticks. So I just did you want like a salad, or what do I do with it?
Fair point. Salad it is.
All right, get the shears, boys! And they start hacking this thing up, and they make a salad that spans the entire table that you are seated in. They accent it with a bit of lemon juice and a light vinaigrette dressing, and it goes down smooth as you shovel it into your face. Zurabak, even I shudder to even say it, but you've got about 4 days in the city of Everspring before this big wedding's going down. Do anything besides ravenously consume everything the college can provide for you?
I suppose I start hiding in dark corners and scaring people.
Fantastic. Now, is this around the city in general or just at the college?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. So you want to spend your free time skulking about the city, and what, are we talking just jump scares?
For the most part. But for those special few, they get the full stalking package.
Great. What's the target of your terrifying pranks? Or is there anyone in particular you're looking to target with these?
Anybody that'll give a good scream.
There is a banker named Thaddeus. He is a very thin and sickly dwarven man that has a small lending house on the surface here, and So I'm just writing down Thaddeus because I'm gonna have to remember that shit now. I'm gonna cut this out. It's fine. Thaddeus tripped over the tail of your snake one day as you and your massive serpent were walking through the streets and did not apologize or say anything. And you, I assume, made him your special friend.
Yep. I miss the old Sebastian, so I need a new one.
He has a very bad habit of cutting down a side alley on his way home from work every day that is completely cut off from view of either of the side streets that butt up against it, and is the perfect spot for an ambush. What do you do to Thaddeus?
Well, the first couple of times, just appear out of nowhere and don't say anything and just scare the shit out of him.
Yeah. Every single time that you pop around a corner at this man, he screams the most. It's almost like a classically trained singer. He hits a note so high that you didn't think it was even in his register. And he half faints every single time.
And then I just fade into the darkness.
Are you using any of your druidic magics to really put some stank on this one?
No, but after about 3 times of that, we'll get some druid magic involved. Just, bring up the obscuring mist first and, make it nice and spooky.
Fantastic.
And if he ever decides to switch alleys, I follow, of course.
Yeah, this is about the third alley this guy has tried to use as a shortcut on his way home, trying to evade the terrifying presence of you. And as he slips skillfully, slips terrified down this alley, it slowly fills with mist. He stops in his tracks, clutching his beard in both hands and shivering as his eyes dart all around him. What else do you do?
Are the buildings made of stone?
They absolutely are.
Oh, then we're just gonna stone shape the walls behind him every time so he can't escape.
Fantastic. He turns to run back the way he came and runs face first into a brick wall formed from stone that was not there a moment before. Any other spice you want to put on this?
Yeah. I start making animal calls in the distance.
Just going to roll a quick will save against fear for this guy. Oh, he pees his pants. Stuck in this cloying mist that he can't see through, running into walls that you construct behind him, even as he turns around, you, perched on a nearby rooftop, starts braying in these horrific animal noises, and he shivers in fear so thoroughly that he pisses his pants.
Good.
Fantastic. That is how Zurabak spends his 4 days. Let's jump to Hector. Hector, you got 4 days till this big wedding between the diviner and Ruger's ex-wife Shira. Anything you would like to do in the city of Everspring with these 4 free days you got?
I would like to shop a little bit.
Fantastic. The markets of Everspring are full to brimming with shops selling all manner of things, from saddles to suits to magical items. Is there anything in particular you're looking for?
I'm looking for magical clothing that will help protect me in battle.
You, why don't you roll me a gather information check? Because the written word is gone, it is very hard for people to display in public where to find their shops and what they sell. It can take a little bit of effort to track down the particular shop that you'd like to find. What do you get?
15.
You are able to track down a shop with a surprisingly familiar name. Apparently, there is a store called Evan's Emporium in town, a newly opened shop that sells all sorts of rare and obscure items, including magical clothing. You enter the shop and you see a familiar, nervous human man standing behind the counter. Evan from Evan's Emporium in Picker's Run. stands before you and says, "Oh, hey, you're that big guy from Pickers Run, right?"
That sounds like me, yes?
"Oh man, it's really good to see you. I was nervous about this move to the big city because I didn't know anybody here, but it's good to have a customer. What can I get for you, bud? What are you looking for?"
I'm looking for magical clothing that can protect me in battle. No.
"Oh, I may have some stuff. I may have some stuff that can help you out there. Magical clothing, that's a real good call. You know, in the Badlands, having a good magical cloak or some bracers, it can really make the difference between whether or not you get eaten by ghouls, like my uncle did. It's a good call. I got a couple things here. I got a pair of bracers. They're good for armor. You wear them and it makes it harder for things to hit you. Those are fun. People like that. Let's see. I got
Bracers sound perfect.
Hold on. Give me 1 second. I got to find out how much bracers of armor cost.
Bracers of armor +2 or 4,000 gold.
Yep. I'm glad I just hit it right. We both know it. We've been playing this for a while. So Evan pulls up a pair of bracers. They are beautifully crafted leather bracers with this gold scroll work on them that makes the silhouette of a shield. They are a perfectly matched pair. And as you have recently unlocked the powers of magic yourself, you can tell these are crackling with magical energy. It says these'll keep stuff from killing you as easy as it did. Should keep the ghouls off. Are there ghouls around here? Because they're a problem in the Badlands, but I don't know if there were ghouls around here.
I haven't seen any. Just, rat monsters and Medusas and stuff, but no ghouls, so.
Okay, good. Well, that's good. Well, yeah, I got these bracers of armor. That'll be 4,000 gold if you want these bad boys.
I give him 4,200.
He looks at the gold you gave him, and he's like, sir, here at Evans Emporium, we like to stay above board. You gave me a little too much money here, sir.
I know. Welcome to Everspring.
Oh, man, you're a lot nicer than the first people that said that. Some guy with a scar over his eye said, "Welcome to Everspring," and then he kicked me into a ditch, and that wasn't fun. So this is a much warmer welcome, so thank you.
What was his name?
I didn't get his name. He was just a guy on the street. He had a scar over his eye. He seemed like a real jerk, which was evidenced by the fact that he said, "Welcome to Everspring." He kicked me in a ditch.
I go look for a guy with a scar over his eye.
Do you tell Evan this?
No, I just leave to go look for the guy.
Roll me a gather information check. Oh shit.
Ooh, 11.
There's a lot of people in town, especially like the Dwarven Guardsmen of the Iron Eye clan that are kind of like the cops here in Grotmire and Everspring, and the Knights of the Order of the Quill that guard the vaults and have a presence here as well. There's a lot of seasoned warriors here in town, and a lot of them have scars over their eye. It's not a very good descriptor to narrow it down. Unfortunately, you are led to several individuals that obviously aren't the caliber of person that would kick poor Evan of Evan's Emporiums into a ditch. So yeah, unfortunately, that is not.
And
Not
each one of them that I meet, I cross off my mental list.
It's very important that it's a mental list as far as our continuity is concerned. Cool. Hector does some shopping and forges a blood oath. It's great. Rilla, you got 4 days till this wedding. You are in the sprawling metropolis of Everspring. The city is at your disposal. Is there anything you'd like to do with these 4 days?
I am now convinced that the tarot cards are real and
Right.
that death is hunting me down. So I am looking for something I can buy to fight the dead. Or to protect myself from the dead, specifically.
Fantastic. You are, of course, referring to the cards that Inga Hilltopple drew, forecasting all of your futures. Yeah, and you drawing the death card, pretty grim omen. So yeah, you go looking for some magical protection against the dead. You find fairly quickly that there is a fairly new magic shop in town that may have the supplies you're looking for. You are directed towards Evan's Emporium.
Oh my god.
And you see
Oh
a
my
familiar
goddess.
face. You see a familiar face behind the counter, the nervous fidgeting form of Evan from Evan's Emporium back in Picker's Run. As you walk in, Evan says, "Oh, hey, you're that nice lady from Picker's Run. Hey, how's it going?"
And you're Evan. You made it out of that shithole you were living in. How you doing?
Oh, you remembered me. That's great. That makes me feel really good. I'm doing a lot better now. You called my home where I was born and raised a shithole, so that hurts a little bit, but the self-esteem is in a net positive. So
I mean,
that's
you did
good.
you did leave, so that says something too.
Yeah, it sucked there, man. It wasn't good. Anyway, welcome to Evan's Emporium 2, the sequel. What can I do for you?
So here's the thing, Evan. I think I'm gonna be hunted by death. So I'm real afraid of the undead right now. Could you help me?
Oh man, I know all about the undead, man. Ghouls, they fucking suck, man. They killed my uncle. I told you the story.
Yeah, you did.
Normally I'd recommend like explosives or some acid, just really melt them down. But if you seem like you have a real need, I may have something for you. Let's see, undead. How about this? And he pulls out a what looks like a cloak, but you realize it's got this very gauzy texture with a lot of trailing ends, and there is a hood on this cloak that covers your whole face, almost like a mask.
Oh my god, I love it.
He says, "This is a ghost shroud. What this lets you do is, if anything tries to kill you, that is like, incorporeal, like a ghost or a wraith or, that kind of stuff. It'll let you just hit them like they were real. It's pretty cool stuff. This one's really expensive though. But you can't put a price on killing the undead again. This one's 5,000 gold.
I slap 5,000 gold. Well, probably heave. I heave 5,000 gold off the counter immediately. I'll take it.
Oh, that's great. That's going to be great for business. Thanks a lot. I hope that this keeps you safe on whatever horrific trajectory you've got in front of you that makes you think you need this.
Thanks, Evan. Maybe you could buy a counter or something for this room. Maybe.
I like the open concept, just sort of like an empty box with shelves on the wall. I like it better, but I'll keep that in mind. The old comment box of the imagination, I'll keep for sure. Thanks. Yeah, and you've purchased a ghost shroud.
Yay.
A gauzy cloak that allows you to slay incorporeal undead as if they were substantive. In your ever-increasing paranoia against what fate lies before you.
I think Rilla's gonna be like a doomsday prepper, basically.
Yeah, I like this angle. Prophecies are fun, man. This is good stuff. All right, Ruger Firehide. You've got 4 days till this wedding.
Yep. Okay, so definitely need to make sure I'm all cleaned up, trimmed up, looking good, all that fun stuff. I want to go see Cole and make sure the horse is tended to and doing just fine. Spend a little time with Cole. I too perhaps pay a visit to my bestest good friend Evan. I intend to get my battle axe and hand axe enchanted to +1 weaponry each. Also, before you get sidetracked, I have another thing that I would like to do. I would like to pay Miss Lamstrand a visit and see if I cannot. So, I want to make sure. I seem to recall, but correct me if I'm wrong. I already have a suit coming from her, right? Something I think my good friend Rilla talked into existence.
At the end of the fashion show that Rilla put on for Charissa Lamstrand, the greatest designer in all of Meosha, you were promised that Rilla would get an outfit and that also you, Ruger, and Hector would get an outfit because y'all can't be stanking up Rilla's game.
Fantastic. So what I would like to do is go visit Miss Lamstrand, specifically with the intention of buying wedding gifts. Namely, a pair of dresses, one for Shira and one for the diviner. I would say not matching, but complementary. That's my goal.
All right.
You're going to the most expensive designer.
I am, and so I go to Evan first, and I spend
to show his ex-wife that he's got money now.
I spend $4,000
Right, yeah.
to soup up the axes. Okay.
So you with Ruger, you have lived in Everspring before. You, of all your companions, are the most experienced in the city, and you have a good lay of the land as far as like shops are concerned. You've done your fair share of shopping here in the past, and you know there is this fresh, brand new store in town selling all sorts of dope-ass magic items. You've had 2 personal referrals from close confidants, and so you saunter into Evan's Emporium. And you see this nervous, gangly human gentleman behind the counter. And yeah, he hooks up your axes very good.
Nice. And I trade stories of old with Evan because we go way back. You know, I used to have a room in Pickers Run. Me and Evan, like this. He's a shark, though.
Ruger, I really appreciate your continuing business. Sometimes I'm afraid you're going to be the only customer I have, but you know, those really scary and nice people that you travel with, I appreciate you sort of funneling business my way. That feels nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want these axes hooked up, I can totally do that for you. If you want some slight enchantments on these, it's gonna be 4,000 gold for the pair.
Alrighty then. And I slide over 4,001 gold pieces.
Oh man, you know some other merchants might find that tip condescending, but I'll take anything I can get at this point. You know, I'm
to
new.
which I say, yes you will, Evan. Yes you will.
Good luck out there, Ruger. I hope those axes kill the right people, I guess. Or monsters. You get into some stuff. I'm sure you'll use your best judgment.
I laugh doing my best impersonation of a Zuraback laugh as I leave. To just leave it on a menacing tone.
Oh, Christ.
Do it.
I don't think that man has ever met Zuraback.
Right.
I don't believe Evan, thankfully, of Evan's Emporium, is not aware that Zuraback exists.
He might one day if he decides to go down a dark alley.
Oh, Christ, no. Evan sticks to very well-lit streets. He closes at 4 p.m. He doesn't fuck around. Yeah, and then, Ruger, you go see Trissa Lamstrand. Why don't we do this? How about Ruger, Hector, and Rilla, about the same time, you all go see Trissa Lamstrand and pick up your particular outfits? Does that sound like a plan?
Well, I need these commissioned dresses ready to go for the wedding. Because they're a gift, you see. So, hopefully 4 days is enough, is my point.
There's one more thing I also want to do with our 4 days, and I don't know how long it'll take, but we need to figure out how to make these swords work, like the activation thing.
Nah,
Right?
definitely don't.
No? They're just good?
Are you talking about the flaming long swords that you stole
No,
from the
she's
Knights
not.
of the Pyre?
She's not even
Yup.
a little bit talking about that.
Do you have used magical device? Because you could just activate blindly and hope it doesn't explode.
Nope.
I mean,
Can't do
you
that.
can use it untrained, and I've got a 4 for my charisma, so...
They never give that
In
skill
your-
to wisdom classes, by the way.
And you're pondering over these swords, you realize that you have one person that can almost instantly find out the nature of any magical item you could possibly provide. Moonbeam and the Hall of Whispers could easily identify these things for you and let you know what their command word is, so that you can utilize these blades. Unless, of course,
Would identify be enough to do that? Would the spell
identify would
identify?
absolutely be enough to do that.
Okay, I do
Hector
that.
the Gatekeeper. Fantastic.
So as we're walking to Charissa Lamstrams, I mentioned the swords, and good old Hector just does it.
Yeah, you've got a bag of holding, right, Rilla?
I tell a story about sword making as I touch the sword, and then I tell you how to activate it.
Yeah, as you guys are gallivanting through the streets of Everspring on the way to Charissa Lamstrand's studio, Rilla pulls out these swords from her bag of holding. And Hector, you utilize your newly found bardic abilities and you cast the spell Identify, which gives you a fucking full psychic readout of everything these swords do. You have 3 flaming longs. They are +1 flaming long swords. They do +1 to attack and damage, and also anything you hit, it'll do 1d6 damage. You could turn on and off the fire by using the command word Ignite.
Lame.
you
I'm never
also
going to
be
turn it on
flame
now
on.
just upon principle. I mean, just...
Unless you accidentally turn it on.
I start doing
who's
it the
to
whole
say?
way we're walking there like it's a lighter. Just off and on.
So by the
off
time
and
we get
on.
there, I have PTSD. I'm having a moment. Having total meltdown.
Yeah, so as Rilla flicks on and off her newly found flaming longsword and Ruger sweats in the reflected glare of that flaming weapon, you all approach Charissa Lamstrand's studio. And it's been like 2 days since you had the fashion show. And as you guys all show up, Charissa sees you all as she's standing in the entry hall of her glamorous studio, and she is wearing a dress. It looks like a perfect cylinder made of paper. It's the craziest thing you've ever seen. It is a strapless floor-length dress that looks like a perfect tube made of a material that crinkles like parchment. As she walks across the floor to you, she spreads her arms wide and says, "Oh, glorious, you've returned! Oh, this is incredibly well-timed, darlings. I have your outfits already prepared. They await you in the back. Come.
I do.
And she waves you on.
I assume there's like a bunch of like assistants and stuff here.
Yes, there is a crowd of assistants and helpers running around holding giant rolls of cloth and shears.
I just want it to be known that I am at all times scanning the crowd for anyone with a scar over their eye.
No one in here matches that very general
I hope he
description.
shows up at the wedding.
Who's to fucking say? Who's to say?
It's the minister. Ooh.
God damn it. I'm going to tackle the priest.
Speak now or forever hold your peace. Ne'er-do-well! You will pay for your crimes! You all are led behind the thick velvet curtain behind the runway that dominates the entry hall to Charissa's studio. And there are, in fact, 3 bespoke outfits there. One for each of you.
I pick up
She
Hector's.
hands them out. Real long.
I pick up
That's
Rilla's.
about right.
This won't do. Change places. Shuffle one to the right, darlings. There you go. That's right. Rilla, you are looking at a beautiful black evening gown. It is incredibly well made out of a beautiful black silk that shimmers, and it has a collar going along the back of it that is made out of jet black peacock feathers, the eyes of which have small onyxes set into them, and it has a small sort of train behind it, starting at the waist and going all the way to the floor, made of long black peacock feathers with onyx settings in them as well. There's a small slit along the side to allow you easier movement, but it's this graceful, shining black dress with these beautiful black peacock feather accents. It fits you like a glove, and it looks amazing. It is absolutely incredible. One of, if not the greatest outfits you've ever seen.
I study myself in a mirror, and I go, do I look like I'm going to murder someone? I feel like I could murder someone in this outfit. This is very ominous.
That is exactly what I was going for, darling. You are so perceptive. Wonderful.
Wow. I stand in trained mute silence. I say nothing. I just nod and probably hold her purse and say nothing.
That dress was made from the silk of subterranean spiders. Very, very difficult to get, an endangered species even. It's one of a kind. She turns to you, Hector. And for you, there is a lovely outfit with a leather vest that has a collar and armholes that are fur-lined with this lovely spotted black and yellow fur. There are lovely leather pants that adorn it with these stripes of this spotted fur on the outsides of the legs, and it is accompanied by a pair of high boots that are the cuffs of which are adorned with this black and yellow spotted fur, and all of the buttons on the vest are made of what look like very large and sharp teeth. And adorning the tops of the boots are what look like vicious talons that are sort of arrayed and curled over the toes of these boots. For yours, I was thinking something primal, something agile and fierce. This is cheetah hide. It's a very rare creature, sometimes seen in the freeholds. It'll make you fast as lightning, at least for anyone looking at you from across the crowded party.
I put the vest on and I run in a big circle around the room to see if I can move faster.
You feel like you're a little bit faster, but you're not sure if it's because Charissa's gassing you up or not, but it feels great. It is the entire inside of this is fur-lined, so while it is a pretty open concept outfit, it is incredibly warm. And the V is deep.
Naturally.
I approve.
I also approve.
And Ruger, you are shown an outfit. It is a black suit with an accompanying long overcoat and hat. The coat and hat are accented with bands of white satin. There's a band of white satin around the fedora, and there is a band of, well, the Stetson, your wide-brimmed hat. Let's not put labels on it. The listeners at home can decide for themselves. There's a band of white silk around it, and there are or white satin, and there are stripes of white satin that adorn the lapels of this long coat, which is collarless. The white shirt underneath it has this high, straight collar that doesn't fold down, and there's a large onyx fitting in the button right at the base of your throat. And it is almost like a military cut, all straight lines and angles. But the quality is incredibly fine. This is like the lightest outfit you've ever worn. It's surprisingly breathable considering all the layers there are. And the coat just barely doesn't touch the floor. And it seems lighter than your normal trench coat. Even as you put it on standing there, it shifts in the very slight breeze coming in through the next room. So it's almost billowing. There's a lovely set of jet black cowboy boots that accompany it. Now, Mr. Firehide, with you, it was rather difficult. I wanted to make sure that you looked presentable, but you certainly don't want to steal the show. You don't want anyone thinking that you're jealous, of course.
Of course.
As much as I would enjoy adding a bit of scandal to this, perhaps some more tight-fitting breeches, I figured you'd want to go more tasteful. This will be the finest suit anyone there will be wearing. I can promise you that, though it is, of course, a bit more suited to your pedestrian tastes.
Well, yeah, that's probably accurate. Definitely offensive, but also probably accurate. But on that note, ma'am, I do have a favor to ask. As one of your beloved customers and good friends of one of your models here.
I'd argue you're more like a charity case, but please, darling, please continue.
To be fair, I do come with coin in hand in this instance. I'm not asking for a favor, per se. I'm more asking for a little bit of custom. I was looking to get a wedding gift for, the soon-to-be newlyweds, the betrothed, the eternally beloved. You understand.
His ex-wife.
And her lady friend. Anyways, I was thinking...
so scandalous!
No, it's... Well, yeah, maybe. Anyways, don't
sell yourself short, darling. It's delicious, every second of it. Please continue.
Great. So, what I was thinking was perhaps... a pair of dresses, it would make for a really, really fine wedding gift. And so I thought, wedding dresses that might not matching. I don't know. Look, I'm not a fashion guy. I don't know if you picked that up exactly, but something that fits each of them.
I'm sorry, Ruger. Did you just say wedding dresses? Like you're gonna show up to their
wedding?
Well,
I'm sorry. Okay, look, I mean gifts.
You wear this now.
Dresses for gifts at a wedding. Not wedding dresses per se, but dresses that like fit each of their individual personalities while also like reflecting their like union. You understand, right?
Oh, yes, of course, Mr. Firehide. I'll just get together with my aides, and we will construct for two people we've never met the perfect outfit to accentuate their sizes, which we don't have, and that fits their personality, which we do not know.
Perfect, thank you.
A glorious
this is
gift.
Fantastic. I knew you had it in you.
Here's what I will give you, Mr. Firehide. Here's what I will give you.
Okay.
Since you are so terribly out of touch as to try to commission an outfit for your ex-wife. I shudder to think. As deliciously scandalous as that would be, let me save you from yourself, Mr. Firehide. Here's what I will give you, darling. She snaps her fingers, and one of her aides comes up and presents two small lengths of silk. Stitched into each of these small lengths of yellow silk is a set of shears, beautifully detailed in black. She takes them from her aide and then hands them to you with a sigh. These are my calling card. These are...
coupons.
I was gonna get
Gift
there.
cards.
Give me a second. I had
Buy one, get
had a
one.
verb coming up. Give me.
Vouchers, not coupons.
Sorry, yeah, it's a classy establishment. You're right.
These strips of cloth on my calling card. These entitle anyone bearing them who comes into my studio an outfit, an original. Provide these to whoever you wish, and when they come to see me and are regarded by my eyes, when they have been weighed and measured, then I shall craft whatever they desire.
While this is going on, Rilla has Spider climbed up the side of the wall and is perching and pretending to be a bird.
So I nod pleasantly at Teresa Lambstrand, and then I lean in a little closer and say, ma'am, one more thing. I actually do have a favor to ask of you. Could you just tailor the breeches just a little bit, just a little bit tighter?
How delightfully scandalous! She snaps her fingers and a couple aides come over and they make those breeches a little more snug. Before you leave, you said you want a charity case. How much gold do you have, good sir? I am accustomed to servicing a very rarefied clientele. Those passes, well, people have been murdered for less, I assure you.
Okay, yeah, of that I'm certain, for sure. Once all God, anyways, it's fine. Well, now I gotta ask, I mean, which price range, what am I getting, you understand.
At least 200 gold pieces for each of those vouchers.
And that's like high quality is what you're saying.
Mr. Firehide, how much gold do you usually spend on the rags you tramp around the Badlands in?
Not very much. Actually, my coat I took off a dead guy. But
delightful. That will be 400 gold pieces, and your exit from my shop.
I give her 1,000 gold pieces, and I leave.
She weighs the bag you give her as you walk out the door, and she looks at Hector because Rilla's on the fucking ceiling.
Probably cawing.
I'm on a wall perched. Thank you. Wasn't Hector running in circles?
Yes, I am also. I am running in. I am a cat and she is a bird.
Yeah.
And there's also a talking cat here.
We're being the animals that our clothing was designed after. Thank you.
And so I'm being a man of taste and wealth and doling out $1,000.
Yeah, because you're wearing white satin.
Exactly. I'm playing a role.
Also, because yet again, we're teenagers, and I'm trying to play this up.
You're like 3 times older than me, but okay.
It's role play in a role play. There's layers, like Inception. We have to go deeper. Wow, get the kick.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
There it is. Alex, you're so good at that. You're getting so good at that. Hey there, listeners. It's Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I have some exciting news. We here at Challenge Rating Zero have our very first sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. Find them on South Grand or at their new location on Cherokee Street. Or, for those of you listeners not living in St. Louis, Missouri, find them at shopapotheosis.com. Voted St. Louis's best comic book store twice over by the Riverfront Times, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge should be your one-stop shop for comics, graphic novels, D&D swag, and more. Not only can you find the latest titles from your favorite superheroes, but you can do so with a cold, locally sourced beer from your favorite St. Louis breweries. That's right. Not only can you find comics and cold beers at Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, but you might also come across yours truly, running one of my favorite role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons. Apotheosis Comics and Lounge, the latest and greatest sponsor of the latest and greatest D&D podcast, Challenge Rating Zero. Check them. All right, we're back from ads. So the 4 days go by. Pranks are pulled on really shitty bankers. Items are bought from Evan's Emporium. Outfits are received from Charissa Lamstrand. And
I am keeping an eye out for the correct guy with a scar over his eye.
I will let you roll one more gather information check before I tuck this story under my arm like a quarterback and just run it through the guy. We are gonna get this done.
7.
No, bud, no. You find you you are shaking down local bartenders, and the last motherfucker they pointed you to was a halfling without a scar on their face. And you're like, okay, shit. This isn't even.
That's like the plot
This
of
is Pretty
season
Jim.
5
Pretty
of
Jim
Game
has
of
no scars.
Hey, Ruger, do we need to buy your ex-wife presents too? I mean, we're your guests, right?
I mean, really, you're like 100 years old. Have you never been to a wedding?
Yeah, but not like a human one.
But what, elves don't get gifts? Like, beloved sticks or,
That's racist.
Probably is. I wouldn't know. I've never been allowed into the Elven lands, on account of my blood and ancestry.
I'm just spitballing here. I don't know.
What else do you give somebody from the forest?
Probably trees.
That reminds me, when is the ceremonial drinking contest?
At the end.
I shall win it.
I believe it, buddy. But in order to top the competition, you'll probably have to remain bone dry until, the bell is rung for the competition.
That's not how the drinking muscle works. You have to flex it
Okay.
over the course of the night to prepare yourself.
Do you recall?
It's probably not polite to win it, though, right? Because it's not your wedding.
No, but he is on security. Y'all, all of us are on security.
It is tradition not to go easy on the bride and groom.
It is tradition to leave
I
the
am the
bride
champion.
and bride alone and to just altogether not cause a nuisance, Hector. Why don't...
No, it's tradition to bring the bride and groom, or bride and bride, or groom and groom, a pair of birds. Duh.
That's... I mean, okay, go for it, sure. I mean, you could probably pass that off as Elven custom, that's fine. I can't say no to that one. So, sure.
Rilla, is that how the elves get down? Because we have to make that canon now, if that's how the elves get down. At every wedding, you give them... It's traditional to give them a pair of birds.
And they have so many birds. Yeah.
That's so many. Everyone that goes to the wedding has to bring a pair of birds.
That's why you keep doing it, right? Because they reproduce, and then you have too many birds. So then you bring the spares to the weddings, and it's a whole thing.
Sounds like a problem. I don't think we want duplicating birds. How are the forests not overrun? Explain it to me.
I think that, it being a relatively small community is the only saving grace. But even still, that's 100 birds at every wedding.
Yeah, it's
a lot, yeah.
This is the magic of Dungeons and Dragons, because I've now written down in my official Dungeon Master notes, wedding birds. And that's gonna come up later.
right there next to
go
Thaddeus
now that I made
and
that
the
up.
man with the scar over his eye.
So Rilla goes to buy the prettiest and loudest bird
God
she can
damn.
find. Intentionally loud because it's Ruger's ex.
There's a pair of brilliantly crested white cockatoos with beautiful yellow crests that will not shut the fuck up. The shopkeeper that's hawking them in the market is beleaguered with sunken eyes and desperate to get rid of them.
So at this point,
Perfect.
Rilla,
I'll give you one.
Rilla. Are
What?
those really
What?
the best 2 birds that you could buy for this wedding? Rilla, listen to me. don't you drink at me, bird. No, Rilla. I'm just
Please
perhaps
take these fucking one gold piece is fine. Please take these birds.
no,
please.
sir. Silence. We're discussing here. Perhaps something with a little bit more culture and I don't know, a little fucking quieter. Oh God.
Like what? Like ravens? Are they a ref? Are
Well,
they like a
you know,
raven
now
couple?
that you say that, honestly, the diviner really does give off some like raven vibes. I could get that. I could get that. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe just not the ones.
Please, I can paint these birds. I can paint these
No.
birds black for you. Please,
Sir,
please take these
sir,
fucking birds.
do you need help?
They're only
sir?
1 gold. And he's gonna paint them. That's a really good deal.
It's a terrible deal. Those birds are shrieking at us. My ears are bleeding. So, maybe quieter, more compassionate birds. You know, how about those cute little owls?
You
over
guys
there in the
can.
corner?
Let me interject right here. You guys can fuck around all you want. We're having the wedding in this
That's-
episode,
all right.
so like, you know, have fun with the birds because we're doing it.
Just real quick.
What?
Oh.
Go ahead, Brian.
How much does a keg of fine dwarven ale cost?
That's gonna be 15 gold.
Dwarven
pieces.
ale? Wasn't it
15.
like 3 days ago that you got poisoned nearly to death?
Now
Yeah.
that was
Firewater.
Now,
No.
Alex, if you paid attention to this
I
fucking
did.
game,
It's like fire whiskey or some shit. I don't know. But my point is,
That would be a little terrible to buy the fire whiskey and bring it in. Like, here,
But
it's
it's
the poison
dwarven.
wine. I got it. I got it for cheap.
all right, you know, that's fine.
I got it for cheap. Like the birds.
giving this shit away.
They just poured it in the street.
It's bad. It's got bad branding. Is the problem? It's got real PR fiasco with that rock joint.
Okay, fine. I look for some ravens, but I'm real mad about it.
The same fucking guy's got a pair of ravens. They're quiet as fuck, and they obviously love him. And he's like, 10 gold. These are the only solace I have in the world. Are you sure you don't want the fucking cock? Please. Please.
I give him 11 cold, and I buy both sets of birds.
That's a win. Oh god, I have made every merchant sound like Evan. Fuck.
They're all family.
That's because they all are.
And this
Yeah.
one's being terrorized.
This is
by
Kevin's
birds, so it's
this is Kevin's bird emporium. Is where you bought these from.
Evan is a master of disguise that would put Rilla to shame.
That's
what
too
it is.
that's too much lore. So you buy the birds. Hector, you buy a keg.
No.
Okay.
I buy a pallet.
Okay.
See, I'm not there for that scene, so I can't intervene.
You're too busy with
There's
me.
6 kegs to a pallet. That's 90 gold pieces, if my math is right.
We'll trust you.
You know what? Let's round it up to 10 kegs.
Oh my god.
Okay. You get 10 kegs.
Puts one over his shoulder.
Fine dwarven ale. Oh, Christ. Yeah. It takes 2 normal men, but 1 Hector to push this fucking hand cart that is loaded with all these kegs of ale. Okay, so you have your outfits, you've bought presents. So, here's a question. Do you tell Zurabak about the wedding?
Where is Zurabak? He's in an alley somewhere?
Absolutely
Do we
not.
even know where he is?
Zurabak is eating a salad the size of a small
Okay,
hut
I don't believe
in
you.
the
A
cafeteria.
salad?
As you all tramp into the cafeteria at the end of this last day, the eve before the wedding, you see Zurabak hunched over a salad, grinning a very shit-eating grin, as unbeknownst to you, he recounts the poor banker he made piss his pants not 5 hours ago. And he's eating a sauteed pile of what looks to be like tubers and leafy greens.
I told
and
him this
some
time
vines.
to use some of its poison for the dressing. Give it a bit of a
Oh,
kick.
absolutely. There's a real acidic gut juice sting to these leafy greens, and it's going down so right. Why don't you go ahead and roll me a fortitude save and throw Zurabak just real quick.
First poison?
Yes, verse poison. Don't be silly.
Just verse Faye? You gotta go through it every time.
At some point, it'll come up, I promise. Not this
That
time.
bonus is a +4 for some reason.
Yeah, it's good.
Fortitude, 8, 9, 10, 20 on the dot.
Yeah, the very rich and acidic poison that has been placed on these leafy greens from the Tendriculus you killed are no match for your iron gut constitution. So Rilla, Ruger, and Hector, you walk into the cafeteria to get some grub. There is, as usual, Zurabak seated in his special chair, his special antler chair, at the end of his table, dining on this very poisonous salad. And as usual, there's a dozen students and, concerningly enough, a couple faculty members all standing around him cheering and placing wild bets.
And one paralyzed kid that I tricked into eating some.
He's only slightly paralyzed. It's fine. Yeah, do you guys tell Zurabak about this wedding?
Okay.
Nope.
That's, truth be told, probably a no. Reinforced by the fact that we all spent a week getting cleaned up and specially outfitted to go to this wedding, and Zurabak is a swamp monster. So, and we did nothing to address the swamp monster. He's eating poisoned salad, so.
That I killed.
I believe it.
Cool.
I don't want to leave Parker out, but I also can't wrap my head narratively about a single reason why Ruger would be like, yes, let's bring him to the wedding.
Oh, we don't got to force him, man. I've been doing this a long time. We'll get him there. So, you guys...
I am busy stalking a banker.
He's stalking the shit out of a banker.
He's having a good
Does he
time.
have a scar over his eye?
Could make one.
Oh, Christ. Hector, I heard you were looking for a guy. It's still bleeding, Zurabek. Yeah, but like, it'll scar at some point. He probably did it. Anyway, I'm just writing cutscenes. So, you guys, conspiring between the three of you, decide not to inform Zurabak of the wedding you're going to tomorrow, and you all go to bed. Zurabak eventually passes out over the table of poisoned salad greens he is devouring, as is his wont. And you all have some pretty disturbing dreams.
I mean, I would hope so. I ate some nasty salad.
You really did.
Oh, God. I had the stress of dealing with a teenager all day, so...
You thought you were done with that
Yeah,
forever.
I bought dresses. Today was effectively a nightmare, so...
Zurabak, as you... Zurabek, as you snore offensively loudly over your pile of nearly completely devoured poisoned greens, you dream fitfully. You find yourself in a broad and fetid swamp, but you are completely unable to get any bearing on your location. This is a swamp you've never been in before, and unlike the swamp you were raised in, or any bit of wilderness you normally find yourself in, even with your impactful druidic magic and abilities, you are completely unable to navigate this terrain. You constantly fall into deep bogs, pockets of quicksand you're barely able to wrench yourself free from. You are stumbling around like some weak city-dwelling idiot through this incredibly savage environment. You are menaced by mosquitoes that draw the blood from your body, and you find around a corner, as you stumble through the extended roots of a mangrove tree, a tendriculus, a gigantic plant creature with long lashing tendrils and a huge yawning mouth. The same beast you fought just the other day, but this time the creature wraps you up in its tendrils, stuffs you into its mouth, and you are completely unable to break free. You are paralyzed, helpless, unable to use your magical powers or your natural strength to tear yourself free. You have no spear, no knife. Your claws and fangs are unable to break through this creature's belly, and you are slowly and indelicately digested from the bottom up. First, your feet boiling as you are paralyzed in the stomach juices of this creature, that it works up to your knees, and then your pelvis, and then slowly works up your torso. You are bound and dissolving slowly, feeling every second of it as you are in this creature's gut. And just as its stomach acid starts to eat through the trunk of your torso, and you feel your heart sluggishly beating as your vital organs are being dissolved, there is a darkness that appears. Darker even than the lightless interior of this horrid plant creature that is dissolving you. You see 2 points of perfect pitch blackness, as if the void itself had pierced into the stomach of this creature. And these 2 points widen into what are unmistakably eyes. And under these 2 black eyes, a sharp white grin forms. And you hear a voice say, "I think that's quite enough."
I'll eat you too, shiny darkness.
And you wake up, mumbling that into your poison salad.
Stupid salad. Begins eating again.
Hector, the gatekeeper.
Ooh, that's me.
You are buried under a mountain of jagged ice. It has pinned you in the freezing high altitude of the high pass. The air is thin here. You are desperately struggling to get enough oxygen into your lungs to power your muscles, which are becoming more and more numb with every passing second in the horribly frigid wind at these high peaks in the mountain range known as the Gate. The massive blocks of ice pinning your limbs cut deeply into your arms, drawing lines of blood from savage gashes as they seem to grind into you as you struggle to free yourself. Your breath comes out in furious swirls of white vapor as you struggle to breathe, and those blasts of vapor get thinner and thinner. All you can hear is the roaring of the Arctic winds tearing at your flesh, and all you can feel is numbness drawing in on you. And then hanging above your face, superimposed against the swirling blizzard raging above you, you see 2 points of blackness. They expand into a pair of eyes, darker than the night, and a sharp white smile forms underneath the eyes, and you hear a voice say, "I think that's quite enough." And you wake up with a start in your room in the College of Everspring. Rilla Longshadow, you are hunting through the woods, but you are not hunting a stag or a boar or any other beast that might feed you and your clan. You are hunting your sister. Dara, your kid sister, is running through the tall, ancient trees of the Springvale forest, always just out of reach, always just out of sight, her slight form darting behind tree after tree as you stalk ploddingly after her, calling her name, but she does not turn around or answer or even look in your direction. You are exhausted. Brambles are cutting at your skin. The branches of trees snap at your eyes, nearly blinding you as you race through the forest of your homeland. And as you turn around a particularly large trunk of a tree, you see the chair. The chair that you were strapped in when the elders experimented on you as a child. The chair that was your home for far too many of your formative years. And strapped firmly into the chair is Dara, and sprouting from her elbows, from her neck, from the center of her chest are long, wicked needles attached to tubes that are draining her blood. She looks at you and opens her mouth as if to scream, and then between you and this image of your baby sister form 2 points of pure blackness. They grow into eyes, and a sharp white smile forms beneath them, and you hear, "I think that is enough." And you wake up in your bed in the College of Everspring. Ruger Firehide, you're at a wedding. It is a beautiful affair. There are hundreds of people milling about. The bride and bride stand together on a central dais, holding hands and smiling happily. And no one seems to notice the small plume of smoke that appears from the train of the bride's gown. No one seems to care that the fire sprouts at the end of that dress and slowly races up its length. All of the guests cheer and toast and drink and laugh as Shira is slowly but inexorably engulfed in flames. She doesn't even seem to care as she stands there clasping hands with the diviner, the flames spreading from Shira's hands to the diviner's hands until they absolutely wreathe her as well. And you stand horrified, looking around confused as Shira and the diviner are completely consumed by ravenous flames that burn them to withered husks before you. All the while, everyone around you laughs and drinks and clinks their glasses together louder and louder in this horrid cacophony that shakes your very skull as you watch in tear-stained eyes as the 2 women on the dais burn and burn and burn. And suddenly, as you're watching this, 2 black eyes form in front of you, the darkest, deepest black, and a sharp white smile appears beneath them, and you hear, "I think that's quite enough." And you wake up in your bed in the College of Everspring.
When I wake up, I go to grab for my strand of prayer beads and instead accidentally grab my necklace of fireballs.
The golden orbs feel light in your hand and thrum with an inner warmth, and you are jolted, terrified when you look down to see what you are holding. So yeah, that is how you all awake on the morning of Shira and the Diviner's wedding.
I think today's going to be a wonderful day.
I start rolling a cigarette and quietly contemplate, while still holding the prayer of fire or the fire beads.
Yeah. Rilla, how do you do? Ruger is pensive and saying the rosary on his fire necklace. Rilla, how do you respond to this dream?
I am super, super angry. I am pissed off is what I am. So I think I might be punching walls a little bit because my walls are the forest, right? I'm in the elf room. So yeah, I'm punching trees. That's what I'm doing.
Fucking trees.
Yeah. You punch the beautifully painted wallpaper of your room, painted to look like a...
Can I hear that?
Forest clearing. Oh, for sure. Yeah, you hear a rhythmic thud.
I go to
punching
investigate.
her walls. Cool. Hector, what do you do after you wake up from your dream?
Nah, but for real though, Hector, just full denial, just whistles and smiles and pretends like it's any other morning.
Excellent. Ruger, you go to Rilla's room. You knock on the door.
I definitely do.
What do you do, Rilla?
What?
Everything all right in there?
I think that's the only noise you get.
You hear Ruger in the hallway. You hear Rutherford, Rilla's familiar, hiss furiously.
Okay. Rilla, is everything all right in there?
I'm not in danger. I'm just very, very, very mad. And then the thumping continues.
Fucking old boy shit. I love it.
Do you want to talk about it? Maybe over
No.
pancakes? Pancakes? It's nature's cure for whatever ails you.
The door wrenches open. And she says, I don't like pancakes.
I would not recommend the salad. Turns out it was poison, so. What's the cause of the holes in those walls, Rilla? I mean,
My hands. Ruger.
yeah. Do you want, like, some gauze? I could, I don't know, wash out the wounds and
Rilla does have a strength of
I
11,
don't know.
so yeah.
over not yogurt. Do you like parfait? I don't know, like, what comfort food will support you in this time until you open up and tell me what's wrong. It's gonna happen.
No, it's not. My hands are probably pretty gross, though. You can handle that. I'll go drink some coffee.
No, we need to watch those. It's gonna get infected. Dude, elves get infected, right? That happens.
I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Ruger, you applied some rudimentary first aid and then go get some breakfast with Rilla.
I do, and as I do, I muse quietly on the fact that on the day of her wedding, I am tending like a medical professional to Rilla.
There you go. Hector, do you join your friends at breakfast?
I was already there. I've got a big spread in front of me. I'm whistling as I eat. Hector is overly chipper.
Rilla gets a piece of toast and just stabs it a bunch into like littler and littler pieces.
I just stare into the void of my black coffee, just overwhelmed by the sheer amount of teenager at this table.
Zerbeck is eating loudly next to you all.
No, as soon as Hector gets here, I got a thing I gotta do. And then he leaves.
What do you do?
He's gotta stalk a man.
Okay. Fantastic. So Zervac goes stalking, and you three are at the table. Does anyone bring up the dreams y'all had?
No.
Hector, you seem to be in a mighty fine mood this morning. Unlike
It's going to be a wedding today.
Yep.
It's really
Be
exciting.
a real barn burner. And then I cringe for a moment. Well, I'm glad you're in the right spirits. I'm pretty sure that murder dress that Rilla picked up yesterday's done something to her mood. I mean, look what she's doing to the toast.
Now, we don't know the full story here. Perhaps that toast had it coming.
Well, that's dark. But then is that your explanation also for the walls in Rilla's room? You know, the walls that she punched holes in until her knuckles are bloody, as evidenced by the bloody knuckles.
Sounds like training to me.
Nope, sure doesn't. And why are you being so suspicious, actually? Now that... Slept well, did you?
Incredibly well. Perfectly well. The wellest.
Roll a bluff check, liar.
I'm rolling.
Hector is to roll a bluff check because he lied. Ruger, roll a sense motive.
Ha!
17.
I'm actually pretty good.
That's pretty
I
good.
also rolled a 17. My modifier is 7 if that's the tiebreaker.
Nah, I gotta roll again.
Wait. Hold on. It was an 18.
Wait! You're a human!
Convenient.
That's a 21.
No, look. I rolled a 16 on the dice, and I never updated when my charisma
That's fair.
score went up.
But
Gotcha.
you are a favored enemy. You are human. I forgot to add my +4.
Damn it.
Fantastic. Hector does a great job of keeping his cool, but Ruger, you can
Wait,
see.
but my cape that I totally have always had gives me
Totally
I
always have.
stab him like toast.
Ruger, you can see as Hector says he's having a great morning. He holds his coffee mug too tight and he chips it a little bit. Like there's a crack that shows up.
I always do that.
Okay, guys, bring it in. Listen to me, okay? I know we're all in moods. We're all feeling.
Rilla's plate breaks in half at this point.
Yes, it does. Your knife has gone through.
Leave
the
the
toast and through
china
the table
alone.
already.
I don't understand. Wait, is it china here? Leave.
Just porcelain's fine. It's porcelain.
Anyways, listen, look, I don't know what's going on, and true to your respective ages, some of which don't make sense in context, I get it, we're feeling things, but today is an important day, and what can we do to bring it in? I already offered parfait. Apparently pancakes aren't popular with your generation. What would make you guys happy?
Your generation.
You fucking Zoomers ruined pancakes. New York Times front page: Zoomers kill pancake industry.
Well, my
Zoomers,
advice
man.
is
to
Rilla is actually the greatest generation. Thank you.
So why did you bomb the freeholds? Can you explain that, please?
Generation's got a lot to answer for. Anyway, Hector, you were saying?
my suggestion for what we can all do for today is to simply deny all negative feelings and pretend to be happy. Surprisingly effective.
Look, part of me wants to get into a therapy session here and ask you, oh, well, Hector, what are you hiding from? What's got you in such a tizzy?
I hide from
Yeah,
nothing.
Okay, buddy. All right. I believe you. Okay. I don't believe the other bullshit you were spewing, but I believe you now. But listen, man. Look, we've all been through some stuff. I mean, shit. You got poisoned by like a Medusa like a week ago or something. It was terrible. And then we went to a fiery hellscape. The world exploded for a second. I don't know. Rifts in reality. Shit sucks. I get it. And so too apparently do the pancakes. But listen to me.
I know what lava feels like. I know what that feels like to the touch.
I don't like any of the words you're saying at me right now. In fact, I find them mildly triggering. Triggering, like the dream I had last night about my wife being on fire. So things are happening.
You have a wife?
Ex-wife.
It's complicated. And you're not here. Shut up, Zerbag.
Oh, snap. Oh, Freudian slip, or whoever Freud is in my world.
He's probably from China. I don't know. So, my ex-wife, fine, she was on fire. Her soon-to-be beloved was on fire. And real talk, I think I can intuit actually what happened. I'm pretty sure I'm being maliciously fucked with. But, it's part of being a protagonist, right?
Okay, so we all just had... Like, our dreams don't have any links, because my dream was the opposite of that, so...
Okay, so...
What's the opposite of being set on fire?
Buried alive in
ice.
snow or some such. Just something like that.
Mine was torture related with my little sister.
Okay.
And then I stabbed through an entire loaf of bread.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Everybody had dreams. Is this why we're all in moods this morning? Because we had nightmares.
We all have dreams
Okay,
every night.
That's true. Now,
Yeah, Ruger.
We're all anxious. It makes sense. Our heads are playing with us. No
Nope,
big
it's
deal.
not.
Nothing to
Yes,
analyze
guys,
here. Let's all move.
Hector,
on.
gatekeeper, listen, hear me out. I have a theory, okay? It's a working theory. My theory is that you two are being fucked with. Let it not be forgot what we learned, like, just a few days ago, that the Lord Deceiver possesses the ability to cram dreams into our headspaces. And as it turns out, I happened, I believe, to have talked to or been talked to by them. I don't know. There was a floating face, black eyes, and
Hey, Ruger.
What?
Hey, Ruger. Hey. No shit.
Yeah, so what's the problem? Like, our enemies fucking with us. Like, fuck them back. But they're messing with us, right? Like, there's no stock in it. It's... Right? Right? We could all agree that there's no stock in the dreams. It's just... Right? Like, right, guys? Solidarity in this. I really could use solidarity that my wife's not about to be... My ex-wife is not to be set on fire, right?
So that's like a worst thing imaginable for you, and torturing your sister's like a worst thing imaginable for you.
I feel like that's just what's gonna happen if I don't get Darren the fuck out of the forest soon, though.
See,
so.
and now there you are being reactive, and
If I don't come back, they don't have another sorcerer to do anything with, but they do have the next closest thing, which is my little sister.
is she a sorcerer?
So.
Well, in mine, I wasn't strong enough to break out of being covered by an avalanche, which is obviously something that could never happen. Therefore, these dreams don't mean anything.
Okay. Right.
I would bust out of any. Do you know how many avalanches I've been a part of?
And honestly, I'm going...
How many have you caused?
Yeah, ooh, that's the better question. Now we're getting to the good stuff.
Not that many.
I also order another round of pancakes while we're talking.
Nobody wants your pancakes, Grandpa.
I eat more pancakes and overtly talk about how delicious they are as I do.
I eat waffles.
Ruger fucks with flapjacks. Ruger's a flapjack man. All right? As you guys are talking around the table and denying or accepting the dreams you had, a runner approaches you all. A centaur with short cropped hair and a blue vest strides into the cafeteria and heads...
I literally, as the centaur walks in, say, "Oh, come on now."
I just quietly put my hand on my weapon.
This runner, one of the messengers of the land, walks up to you and says, "Oh, greetings. Would y'all be Rilla and Ruger and Hector? I told there'd be a fourth one. Smelled like shit. Is he...
Yeah, he's busy doing...
He's an urban myth.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's better not to meet him, really.
Well, I got a weird message for y'all. Comes with a picture. This comes straight from the jail in Grotmeyer. The message is, I think that's just about enough. And the runner pulls out a scrap of cloth from one of the pockets of their vest and sets it down. And there is a little doodle of 2 jet black eyes and a smiley face underneath it. He said, I don't know. The guy said his name was Sebastian.
I'm going to kill that little bastard. And I grab a butter knife and I run off.
I chase after the elf. I get up and I look back forlornly at my freshly delivered stack of pancakes.
Yeah, the serving guy that put it down looks off at you like...
No, I just give him the most heartbroken look. Like, all of my agony.
He's like halfway through pouring syrup on it as you leave, and he's like, oh man.
He's not serving a swamp monster for once.
A single tear rolls down my cheek.
Hector, do you give chase as well?
No, I actually, I asked the runner, what did the individual that gave you this message look like?
It was a little gnome guy. white hair, a big old nose, just weird eyes, man, like black eyes, like a doll's eyes, you might say.
And when were you given the message?
Oh, I just came straight from an hour ago. I just came straight from the prison.
Okay. I give him a gold coin.
Yeah, you do. That's how you do it.
And I grab the scrap of cloth and I walk briskly and angrily towards the prison.
Rilla, is that where you're heading?
Yep. Unless Ruger stops me.
No, Rilla, come on. Now, we've been talking all morning about you being reactive. Let's just breathe in through the elven nose, out through the elven mouth.
That little bastard has fucked with me one too many times.
I agree, but are you gonna really kill him with a butter knife? Like, come on. Those are meant for flapjacks, not for dead gods.
That's why it'll be good. It'll take forever.
You all make your way through the city, heading to the large elevator platforms, the large stone slabs held aloft with chains that allow people to move quickly from the surface here, topside, the city of Everspring, down to the depths of Grotmire. And the city is bustling. It seems there's some very large-scale, high-class event going on, and those merchants that aren't contractors working the event have largely shuttered their doors to attend the event themselves. There's giant processions of beautiful blue and white roses marching through the streets as florists go about their work setting up. There's an army of caterers moving through. There's quite a traffic jam at the lift, to the point where by the time, Hector, you get to the elevator, Ruger and Rilla are still waiting for the lift down. So you all ride the same elevator down to the depths of Grotmire, heading to the prison. Zurabak, it's a curious thing. Thaddeus leaves his home like he normally does, in perfect view of you as you crouch on a rooftop watching his passage as you normally do. But this time, he's not cutting down an alley. It seems like he's not heading to his job at all. He's wearing a very fancy outfit. Some dumb, shiny silk number that only a weak city dweller would wear, and a very fancy hat. And he is joining a throng of people flowing like blood through the arteries of this city towards a very tall tower at the far end of town. It seems like a lot of people are heading there, like there's some sort of big event going on. What do you do?
I follow him through the crowd. He'll go down an alley eventually.
Fantastic. Roll me a fucking man. Roll me a hide check. As he is now constantly like checking corners and looking over his shoulder for any sign of you anywhere he fucking goes.
Oh, no, every now and then I want to be seen by him to hurry him along his way.
Oh, okay. So you're not like ninja stalking him. You are slasher movie stalking him. He is a teenage camper and you're just slowly trundling behind him inexorably. Is that what I'm getting? Okay, then never fucking mind. Yeah, you just walk after him in the crowd, and every once in a while looks over his shoulder and blanches audibly. He goes so white you can hear it, is what I just said. So that's what happens. And he is surrounded by a pack of equally weak-looking city types, a lot of thin, scrawny, sickly-looking folk that are talking about complete nonsense, and none of the rest of them seem to notice you or this man's fear. Rilla, Ruger, and Hector, you guys head down the lift towards the prisons within the depths of Grotmire, the large dwarven hole that encompasses the interior of the Everspring Mountains. And you are, as usual, met by the guards in black lacquered armor on the that are posted outside of the prison, and after flashing your protagonist badges, letting them know who you're there to see, they wave you in and take you deep into the lightless depths of this prison. You walk down a narrow corridor flanked by 2 towering walls of stone with countless cells carved into them, almost like the cells in a fucking honeycomb. And you climb a flight of wrought iron stairs bolted into the side of one of these stone walls, and you come to stand before the cell of the stricken, Anthony Geist. You hear, radiating out from the depths of this dark cell, "When the light begins to fade, and all that's left is..."
I throw my knife at him.
You fling your butter knife through the bars of his cell, and he just barely dodges out of the way as it clatters against the wall behind him. And he looks up and says, "Ah, the runners are efficient as always. I'm so glad you found time on especially this auspicious day to come see me. I hope you're pleased with my work."
I hunch down so we're at eye level, and I say, if you ever send me a dream about my sister again, I will kill you. No ifs, ands, or buts. I will stab you until you are dead, and if that means you go back to the void, cool. And if not, I don't give a shit.
He looks at you completely confused, utterly aghast. "Rilla, do you think I sent you that dream?"
Yes.
"My dear, you could not be farther from the truth. I stopped that dream."
Sense motive.
Yeah, go ahead.
Also sense motive.
Go ahead.
Fuck it. I guess I do too. I was believing it, but
19.
It's a tradition. Any word out of this fucker's
26.
mouth?
No, I believe the
21.
banker has plenty of fear. I don't need sense motive for that.
Wait, is he undead?
There you go. Yeah, I'll give you
28.
undead. Fantastic. Ruger, Rilla and Hector, dude seems like he's telling the truth. You give him, a once over, try to meet him in his now black as void eyes, and there does not seem to be any guile or cunning in him. Ruger, you've been a cop for a very long time. Part of being a cop is reading people and trying to root out the truth. You have at this point studied Anthony Geist. You've studied the Stricken. And though you were as surprised as anyone else when the facade of Sebastian Weaver fell, you have made a point of keeping a very close fucking eye on this former demigod, now condensed in a mortal form, this archmage that wove the glyph purge. Perfectly earnest. You sense no guile, no cunning. This man seems confused by Rilla's anger and hurt at her accusations. You get nothing but a clean read from this guy. You can't see any artifice. His body language, his posture, the expression on his face, there's no tics, nothing. This guy seems completely, perfectly aghast at the implication. He says, "You found on the Ashen Isles that the Lord Deceiver has the ability to touch your dreams. Yes?
Yep. Yep.
You all received
Sorry.
You all received nightmares that had manifestations in the physical world. So powerful were these that they drew blood. They left soot and snow upon your bodies. Yes?
Yep.
The things you saw last night were another visit from the Lord Deceiver. They tapped into your dreams once more to try to disrupt your sleep cycle, to fill you with fear and anxiety, to harm you. Did any of you wake up with a scratch on you this morning? Did any of you wake up with any physical manifestations of the dreams you had? I shielded you from the worst of these nightmares. My eyes and my smile were meant to be a comfort. I, with my newly gained abilities, with the follower, I now have the faith of Queen Letitia. I have come into some of my own lost talents. I saved you from whatever pain or hurts the Lord Deceiver wished to put you through. I stopped those nightmares.
You think you spared Rilla pain? Is that what you think you did?
I think I stopped a malevolent spellcaster of inordinate power from doing real, tangible, physical harm to Rilla across miles and leagues through her dreams. Yes. You didn't wake up bleeding this time, did you?
That's actually a very salient point.
Fuck you, Ruger.
That's fair. I had that coming.
I tried to tell you. My eyes, my smile in your dreams, the words, that will be enough. That was me cutting off the connection. I thought you'd be happy. I'm helping you.
That's creepy as fuck, dude. Your eyes are black.
And also, Anthony, it is well noted, you're a fucking liar. So any words of condolence, we have to take with the proverbial grain. Salt, I don't know, whatever.
This is not me asking you to trust me. This is me providing a service that you did not request that was within my power. I don't want credit for this, but for God's sake, to have your animosity for saving you?
Hector leaves.
Next time, if there is a next time, if you're telling the truth, maybe don't choose your fucking creepy face as our reassurance. I thought that was a signature to say, ha, I'm getting you now. I have power, and I can go into your dreams too. That's how I read it.
Considering that I used the fleeting bit of power I have left to safeguard my protagonists against an enemy attack, perhaps next time I'll just sit on my laurels, or perhaps stuff myself in a sack and allow the enemy to boil your brains from the inside out while you sleep. I don't want thanks. I will not accept this anger. I have suffered greatly from my crimes. I will suffer more before it is done. I will not sit here and have you all besmirch me after I saved you from pain. I believe you have some festivities to get to. Leave me. Let's see if the next time you need to recover an unknown artifact to save the world, if I feel like I will deign to assist you. Goodbye. And he slinks back to the back of his cell.
I tell the guards to retrieve the knife that I threw into his cell.
It comes clattering out of the bars.
I linger until after Rilla's left, and I turn back looking at the cell full of shadows, and I just say, thanks.
You're welcome, Firehide.
Ruger's the evil one.
That's why he always senses evil, because it's him, not poor pure Zurabek.
The three of you leave the prison. The wedding's in just a few hours. Do you all gussy yourselves up and head on down?
Sure do.
Or did you want to spend some time unpacking this? Because we can do that instead.
Let's
That was-
unpack it while we take a fun set of baths like we did that first time, right? With the walls.
You know, I've heard worse ideas.
A little bit spa day, little bit chat.
You all go to the bathhouse and soak.
Yes.
Trying to get all those creepies away. Zurabak, Thaddeus is now at the broad courtyard in front of an incredibly tall and thin tower. You hear a bunch of murmuring in the crowd that you're only half listening to about some sort of wedding. Someone called the diviner. It doesn't fucking matter. Thaddeus is standing by a beautifully arranged buffet table. He is nervously sipping a glass of champagne and looking at you and waving over a city guardsman, a stout dwarf in red lacquered armor, and is nervously chatting with them. The dwarf looks at you, then looks back at Thaddeus, and then shakes his head and wanders off. And Thaddeus looks fucking crestfallen. So crestfallen you can hear it!
He's very loud
he
with
is
his emotions.
He is. They're fucking cacophonous. All around you, tables are being set up and chairs are being arranged in rows. There's a small woven wooden archway with ivy and blue and white roses strewn all across it at the top of the stairs in front of this tower. And there's a lot of whole fleet, like 50 people dressed in black slacks and white blazers that are just running around filling up these different dishes on this buffet, silver trays with glasses. Someone comes up and offers you a bacon wrapped something and a glass of booze.
I take them, but never leave my eyes from Thaddeus.
Fantastic. Ruger, Rilla, and Zurabak.
Nope.
Let me try that again. Ruger, Rilla, and Hector.
Hey, that's me.
You guys go to the bathhouse. The partitions have been removed, as is custom. And you guys are chilling in your various bathtubs. What do you got?
Hector is stone silent.
Okay, guys. Do we want to talk about it now?
And that is where we will end. Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast, where we take a deep dive into our player character psychology, their frustrations, their characterizations, and try to get a better understanding of them as people. In this part of the show, we like to ask each of our protagonists a question and see if we can't unearth some deeper truth about them. The question for today is, who would you die for? Who would you die for? Each of our protagonists has a long list of supporting cast members, except Zurabak. People that they've interacted with on a regular basis, except Zurabak, who they have gained some soft spot in their hearts for, except Zurabak. People from their past or from the adventure that we've seen so far that have a special place in their lives and that they'd be willing to sacrifice anything to keep safe except Zurabak. So the question for today is, who would you die for? Let's get things started with Rilla Longshadow. Rilla, wonderful to see you in the studio. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing okay, host. How are you?
I'm just fine, Rilla. Thank you so much for asking. Just fine. Studio is clean. The Roombas are gone. We've got a lovely cleaning staff now of real human people that won't go berserk and start a military police state inside of my workspace. So it's all going pretty good.
I'm starting to miss all the barricades. It's really bear in here?
Kind of an open concept, sort of changing things up. Sharon's been reading a lot about Sharon. What do you call it? Feng Shui. She's been reading a lot of books about the stuff called Feng Shui. Apparently, it's like, I don't know. You put your furniture wrong, you die in your sleep. I don't know anything about it. But she likes it, so that's what we're doing. But anyway, Rilla long shadowed the question for today, and I gotta warn you, this might get a little dark. Who would you die for?
I mean, Dara, obviously.
Your
Maybe
younger
Aunt
sister,
Arafin.
Dara?
Maybe Aunt Arafin, if she's not being a dick. And maybe Hector. Maybe. If he fucks up on his own, no. Maybe Ruger, not Zerback. There you go.
No, that's very interesting. Dara, I think, is assumed your beloved younger sister who you care about very much and left in the Springvale Forest. Obviously, you're her surrogate parent. It makes sense that you'd give anything to keep them safe. Your Aunt Arafin also makes sense with those...
When she's not evil.
Absolutely, with those qualifying little addendums there. But Hector and Ruger, I am a little surprised to hear that. They've made that...
They're the closest things I have to friends.
That's an interesting way to phrase that. Some people might say they are friends, but not you, and that's an important distinction. All right. So, given the right set of circumstances, you could see yourself sacrificing your life to keep Hector and maybe Ruger safe?
Yeah. I mean, those circumstances would probably have something to do with saving the world my sister lives in, but yeah.
So even then there'd be some ulterior motives with Dara attached.
I mean, if I'm going to die and she's going to live, then it has to be a better world for her than the one with me in it, right? So, yes.
That is incredibly well said, Rilla. Very, very well said. I completely respect that. If I could ask maybe a small side question. Is your life something you hold in great value in general?
I feel like yes and no. Like, my life is my own, so out of spite, I want to keep it. But I also, I don't know. I think other people's lives have more inherent value, I guess.
Oh no, that's very interesting. I wish we had time to unpack all of that, but unfortunately, it is one question per person. I will say, just on a bit of solidarity, I fully understand, as Zurabak's chief biographer, just living through spite. And the only joy I take out of life is that my continued existence in some way annoys slightly or just sort of is abrasive to Zurabak. That's all I have at this point. But real long shadow.
Every day I'm breathing is a day the elders are pissed off. So there's that at least. Absolutely.
Real long shadow, thank you so much for visiting us in the studio today. We appreciate your answer. Very insightful. You have yourself a great day.
You too.
That's going to bring us next to Ruger Firehide. Mr. Firehide, how are you today?
Hosts, I am doing fantastic. Have you ever ridden a skateboard?
I did break my ankle after I touched a skateboard once, and then I kind of swore him off in general. It was a compound fracture. The doctor said they'd never seen a bone so broken, so I kind of just gave up after that.
Yeah, that. So far, your story tracks completely. Listen to me, host. This is the greatest invention of all time. I don't think you understand. I've become one with the board, host. I've been spending nights, evenings, mornings, middays at what they call a skate park, making a lot of friends. Really. Actually, host, now I'm looking at it. You know, you gotta open concept in here. Lot of space. Have you ever considered a half pipe, perchance?
Now, Mr. Fireheart, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm not half as radical as I'd need to be in order to get an entire skate park set up in here. And I'd thank you to sort of maybe rein in your new passion a little bit. I've had my workspace terraformed twice now, and I just want to try to keep a lid on that. Now I can see you're sketching a half pipe right now.
Oh, yeah. Actually,
I would have.
yep, they're carrying in supplies. We're doing this, host. I mean, look
You
at it.
can't.
It's fate.
That's not
Look,
sharing.
Look, he is skating
Sharing!
supplies in on his
Where do all
skateboard.
these two
It's
by fours
majestic.
come from? Ruger, we're gonna have to deal with this off air because the listeners don't have time for this. But the question for today, Ruger, is, and honestly, now I hope this brings you down a little bit. Who would you die for?
Well, host, there's a lot of answers to that one. The first one, case in point, I will say you. Remember that one time when your studio was a swamp and I risked life and limb to venture into that dreaded bathroom to save you, host. It was dark times. The Roombas, host. The Roombas.
I mean, okay, that's a fair point. You have personally, along with your companions, helped to save my life, so I do appreciate that. But let's stick to people sort of
Right. Okay.
in the fiction.
Sure. Okay. So the real answer is everybody. I mean, truth be told, that's part of what being a sheriff is, right? You put your life on the line to defend others and protect peace and order. So whether it be a baker or a carpenter or, preacher or two dumb shit teenagers and swamp monsters, sometimes you just have to put your life on the line, your mental, emotional, and physical well-being on the line to defend those that you begrudgingly love,
Well, that's certainly a beautiful sentiment, and a very touching display of your core values there. I think it is incredibly honorable and a sign of the strength of your character that anyone from the highest to lowest is worthy of your maximum effort and the ultimate sacrifice. Now, let me ask you a follow-up. Do you value your life?
Well, damn, host. I mean, here I am just cruising on down the highway. Yeah, man, I don't put it on the line for nothing, but I feel the fear just the same as anyone else would, and that reminds me that, I want to be here. So, yes, I do put some value on it. It just happens to probably be valued less than the baker or the preacher or two dumb shit teenagers in Swamp Monster.
So you won't put your life on the line for nothing, but you will put your life on the line for everyone.
Sure. And you. Twice over. And I'm building a half pipe. And we're in agreement, right?
Ruger, we're going to talk about your contractor off air.
All right.
We cannot get into this now.
Host,
Ruger,
I agree.
Okay?
I completely agree. Man, this has been gnarly. I'll catch you on the flip.
You have to say, and I skateboard out of there.
And I skateboard out of there.
Next up, we've got Hector the Gatekeeper, keeper of the gates. Hector, welcome to the studio. I guess watch out for the contractors, because they're building a fucking half pipe, apparently.
Yeah, what up, nerd? And I skateboard around the host. Hector has a helmet and knee pads and elbow pads on.
This has escalated far faster than my greatest fear.
Look, I can do a kickflip. I can usually hit that.
It's an impressive 1/4 of one kickflip you did there, Hector. It's very cool. Great. Well, part of me sees what's coming. And that's fuck it. I'm here to do a job. And that job is to ask you a question. And Hector, the question is, who would you die for?
Who would I die for? Mom, dad,
Right.
my sisters, my brothers, uncle,
Right.
aunts,
Okay.
Chet.
Hector, do you want to just streamline this and say your family? Is that maybe a better
Chet's not family.
Okay.
We're part of the same clan. Yes, his last name is the Gatekeeper.
Sure. Gets confusing. Would you? Okay, so would you die for your clan?
Yeah, all of them.
Okay, great.
Ruger,
Right.
Rilla, Olga, Helga,
Right.
Inga.
Yeah. Well, you may get your chance. Who's to say?
Moonbeam,
That makes sense.
Evan.
Aw, I'm sure Evan would be delighted to hear that. If I had any way to actually communicate with Evan, I'm sure he'd love to hear that.
Book.
Your faithful hound. Haven't checked in on Book in a while. A couple people that make the show may have forgotten that Book existed, but moving on.
He's around.
Yeah, he's there.
He's an outside dog.
He's
so I just
available
let
to
him roam.
reference whenever it's convenient and not thought of any other time.
Any of my fellow bards of the College of Eberspring.
Well,
they're all on the list.
Sure.
Children, especially that one little girl that I did put my life on the line to save.
That was back in the blaze of Blackrock, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but any child, probably. That butcher lady, she was nice.
Butcher back in the town of Bramble. So anyone? Almost anyone?
Well, I wouldn't, not like a Knight of the Pyre.
Right, okay. Gotcha.
Gator? I'd...
Okay, Hector. Well, I see I've made a mistake here in making you think you need to give me an exhaustive list. I can assume that
is that not what the form?
No.
Answer form was supposed to be?
More in general terms. So your family, your clan, your friends, children, people that pursue the common good, the bards that ever spring. Just sort of a lot of good people that do good works in the world. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay.
Not Sebastian.
Sure, yeah.
Not him.
Sure.
I wouldn't. Just want to make that one clear.
Absolutely.
Or Chet. Or not Chet. What's the censor? Wait, the censor is Chet.
Who the fuck are you talking about, bud? You talking about Colt?
Colts. Damn it. That's it.
So many episodes
Not Colt.
ago.
Colt's not on the list.
Okay. Colt the...
No. Wouldn't die for him.
The messenger that told Rilla not to go home. You wouldn't die for him?
No.
Okay, well, let me tell you what, Hector. Why don't you make a mental list of maybe the people you wouldn't die for, and then we'll get back to this maybe some other time when you're not so busy trying to kickflip, because you obviously can't do both these things at the same time.
I can do it though. I've done it before.
Sure. No, why don't you go ahead and try one more time? Just go ahead and try one more time to kickflip.
It's just like the space there's not enough.
Sure.
I need like space to get. That's why.
Mm-hmm. And when people are watching, it's just really hard. Okay, well, Hector, we'll see you next time. Thank you very much for your candor. We appreciate it.
Okay, I'm gonna go make skate videos with my friends.
Great. I hope they're radical.
And I skateboard out of there.
There you go. I'm sensing a pattern, a trend emerging, and I shudder to think where it might lead. Last but not least, we have King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, and Duke of the Ashen Islands,
Isle of Neho.
the Isle of Neho.
And it's a
Don't
Baron.
help me, okay?
I think we've totally agreed.
is-
He said Baron.
Motherfucker, it is Duke. I just did the episode. I make the show. Okay, can you just let me do it?
Do better.
Well, that was a lovely limited engagement Alex had on Challenge Rating 0. Gonna be weird.
Special guest star.
Gonna be weird doing the wedding episode without Ruger, but I'll figure it out. Next up in the studio, we have Zurabak, King of the Shocker Lizards, Champion of the Goats, Emperor of the Rats, and Duke of the Isle of Neho. Zurabak, welcome to the studio. How are you?
Yep.
Great. You didn't want to do any cool skateboard tricks or maybe build a fucking quarter pipe or anything in my studio?
That Snake's thing, I don't, not for me.
Oh my god, he is... Jesus Christ, Snake is fucking killing it over... He just did a Christ air. He doesn't have fucking arms. How is that happening?
Practice.
Yeah, I guess that does it. Fuck. Man, Zurabak, I don't often talk to you about Snake. Your Snake is incredibly talented. Sharon, I'm changing my mind about the skateboard stuff. Snake's got real talent. Yeah. Wow. It's like... Fuck, it's like watching someone play piano. It's just... Anyway. Zurabak, welcome to the studio. The question for today is, who would you die for?
No one. I'm immortal.
Right. Okay, wait a minute. Do you honestly think that you are never going to die?
Yes.
Okay.
Unlike you, who's weak, pathetic, and will die very soon.
Right. Yeah, that's old news, hun. So you think you are not ever going to meet your end?
Haven't met it yet.
Right. Are you aware of how time and age works?
Not particularly.
That clears up a whole lot about your entire personality. Have you ever seen someone who's been alive for a long time sort of get gray hair and wrinkles and then just stop kind of one day?
Yeah. Their weakness finally overcomes them.
Right. And since you have no weakness, you are impervious to death, is what you believe.
Correct.
Gotcha. And so you would not die for anyone because you are immortal.
Yes.
Okay, that's cut and dried. That's cut and dried. It is now dawning on me that much of your persona and understanding of the world is based on the fact that you were born in a fucking swamp away from anyone that knew anything. And now I'm starting
Snake says he'll die for some sort of hawk. I think his name's Tony.
That's going to do it for us here on Ask the Dice Stories podcast after the podcast. Thank you, Sharon. I want to thank you for listening to our show. Until next time, keep those dice turning. God damn it. That's it. That's the show. Hey there, dear listeners. Sam the DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by the harp wolf Danielle Williams. You can find more of her amazing work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album available called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check it out. It's a real banger. Additional music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by Justin Ra. You can find more of his work, including tour dates, at Justin Ra. That's justinra.com. He has an album called Age of the Spirit that you should definitely check out as well. Challenge Rating 0 is produced and edited by Audius Prime, aka Matt Sims. Anyone interested in his amazing work should go to audiusprime.com. See if you can get him to work on your stuff. But not too much, because I shouldn't say that. Hire him. He's great. We want to give special thanks to our sponsor, Apotheosis Comics and Lounge. You can check out their stuff at shopapotheosis.com. If you're in the St. Louis area, I highly recommend you check out this spot. They were voted, St. Louis best 2 years in a row. They got comics, they got beer, they got game rooms. You want to go there. Do yourself a favor. If you are interested in supporting our little show here, you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/challenge_ZERO. You can follow us on Facebook at Challenge Rating ZERO. You can follow us on Twitter at Challenge_ZERO. And you can follow us on Instagram at Challenge Rating ZERO. We love to hear from you. If anyone's interested in sending in questions for As the Dice Turns, we will ask those questions to our protagonists. You can email us at challengeratingzero@gmail.com. Any questions we receive, we will read on air. Sorry for the spotty publishing schedule. We appreciate those of you that are still out there with us listening to our program. We are still recording and we will still be releasing these episodes, and we love you all very much for sticking in there with us. The next episode will be out 2 weeks from today. That is going to be Monday, May 23rd. We hope that you will be there with us to enjoy it. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you next time. Bye.